Tongs. Oh yeah. Let's try to keep the ash out of my coffee this morning, huh? Okay. Get a shovel. There. Huzzah. All right. I love this baloney. Here, let's set this so you can actually see what the heck is going on, shall we? That's better. Yeah. A little early morning foraging. Gonna put some of these big old 9-inch pole barn spikes in here. So, couple, 2 or 3 of them. Let's get some air running through here. Oh yeah, now we're talking. That'll get her. Good morning, everybody. NJ, Cody Iron Works. Coffee. Morning foraging. Get warmed up. Got down into the low 40s last night. Get the old hands worked up this morning. What we got going here. Oh yeah. We're getting some now. Takes a minute. Morning, good morning. We're going to do leaves. I had a call for some leaf hooks at one of the stores downtown. And I thought, hey, well, I might as well get up and get it done this morning. It's very early here. But old men don't sleep as much as young people do. So. Find a level spot for it. Takes a minute to get everything set up just the way I like. If you have any questions, more than happy to answer. Oh yeah, look at there. We're going to draw this one down. We're also doing something for my friend Gypsy Soul Designs in Evanston, Wyoming. She wants some big troll crosses. Thank you very much. I am 53 years old in a couple weeks. That is fairly old. Of course, a lot of it has to do with the miles. Ooh, yeah, I got that one plenty hot. Thing about this pull forge, boy. Watch what you're doing. We're going to take a few of these irons out. I think I got a little too many in the fire all at one time. So let's do 2 things at once, shall we? Instead of 5 things at once. That might be more appropriate. Or else we'll burn up our work. See, I already got that leaf going pretty good. That. My fire pot on this little forge is pretty small. Yeah, I guess. We're going to do some troll crosses, and troll cross is kind of just a big circle with some squirrels in the end of it. But I'm just going to kind of rough them out here, and I'll go finish them up inside. But get a nice taper. I think I'm going to run that through the forge a little bit, and we'll cut that off, and we'll see if we can't draw that down and get 2 of them out of it. Try to get enough heat built up there to do that. So these are just big. These are just big nails that I do. Just taking a big, long 9-inch nail, forge a leaf in the end of it. Now, see, you got to have special tongs for this trick because you got to be able to work over your work. You know, you got to be able to get around it. Somewhere here I've got a hardy. Okay. Little forge is nice this time of the day. It's nice and quiet. The only thing you hear is the ringing of my handle. We're just going to try to do, we're going to guess. Trick is not cut all the way through. And then just break it. Friction break, friction cut. Okay. It is about 5 to 6 in the morning here. So it's 5:55 in the morning. And I've already been up long enough to do a lot of work. Okay, there's our wall hook. Now I'm not going to finish them up here because we got the power hammer inside, and so I'll finish. I'm going to do a bunch. I'll get them up to I'll get a bunch of them to this stage, and then I'll finish them up inside. But that looks pretty good. All right, what do we got here? Let's see if this old boy's hot enough. Got that one done. We'll put another one in there. Oh yeah. Well, I'm doing a taper on both ends of that. Of course, you got to try to get them even. So I put a shoulder on that, and now we're going to do that leaf there. So we kind of work two pieces at a time, and then that way one's heating while the other one's getting worked. Even this one out. Yeah, we got that one pretty good. So we're going to have to twist that, but I don't have a vise out here. So I'll have to wait and do that work later. Later. But some of this we can do right here. All right, then straighten him up, and we're going to come over here to the horn. Okay, there's our basic leaf shape. I'm not going to put that down in that fire very good. I'm just going to kind of let it set up on top because I don't want to overcook it, and it's very thin, and that forge I can't hardly shut it down enough to get it down cool enough to actually not burn everything up. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, you're very welcome, and thank you. If you like the content, we just passed 100,000 on the YouTubes. Subscribe. My short content is kind of what I'm known for. Thanks for stopping in. So I'm just going to make a little courtesy bend in that, and I'm going to slide that bendy part down into the fire and see if we can't get it heated up a little bit. Now, we got a leaf. And this is where having the treadle hammer in the other shop is nice, because I can just use the treadle hammer to do this. I don't have to try to do this. I think my leaves turn out better. Of course, my anvil's been sitting outside, and so it's very cold, so I put that very thin piece of metal on it, and it sucks the heat out of it right off the bat. Get that hot enough that it'll cut easy. Yeah, sometimes I get a little wild and I take my... I'm very proud of this. I worked very hard. I worked very hard for that. That was 3 or 4 years of struggling to... 3 or 4 years of struggling to get my... They don't make it easy, I'll tell you that. They certainly don't. YouTube's doesn't. Now he's looking like a happy little leaf. Give him a little sculpt here on the next go round. I think I got him hot. Cut off. Like that. Something like that. Ta-dee! Okay. It's all right. All right. Okay, so I sculpt him up a little bit, just make him look a little real, so he's not two-dimensional. I love wearing this thing, but it's a pain. It's a pain to work with. Bring him back in here. Buttons aren't working. The buttons aren't working. Better not leave my work for very long, or I'll burn it up. That little bit of fiddling around will cause you to burn up your everything you work for. we're going to do, I think I got 4 or 5 of these. We're going to do those this morning. Then I got some others in the other forge in the shop. I don't like forging with that butcher on there. Hardy. Well, I got to clean that up a little bit. We don't have that. He's not very symmetrically tapered, but he will be. I really like the horn on this anvil has been remachined. It's very, very nice. Nice and concentric. All right, we're getting someplace. Do a few more here. That coat gets pretty sticky. It gets like glass on the outside. When you try to even stuff up, the best way to do that is to hammer in the same space and move the work under your hammer, just like you would work a power hammer. It goes straight up and down, and then you work the material underneath the hammer. All right, let's see what we can do here. Huzzah! Huzzah! Okay. Now we're getting someplace with this one. Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. Ooh. It's leafy. Leafy. It's a little leafy. All right, I'm going to try to just even this one up, and then we'll put another one in. Now we're talking. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. Let's see how we did compared to the other one. I think I need to lengthen the other one out a little bit. Don't think I got quite enough length in the other one. All right. Back to the old crotch hold. Go, NJ, go. Woo! You run out of heat in that little fast. That old handle just sucks the heat right out of everything. Gotta go fast. I know that the camera overexposes the fire, so you can't really see how clean that's burning. But that coke burns so much cleaner than any other fuel. Get on now. All right, now I'm going to do the other end. We're getting there now. That's a great thing. I can stretch it. It's harder to make it shorter, but I can stretch it. All right, I want to heat up more of this part of that, so we'll do a little courtesy bend in it. I'm sorry, I don't. I imagine it's evening where everybody is, but it's super early in the morning here. About 6:15 in the morning here, and there ain't nobody around, and it's nice and quiet, just the way I like it. Please like, please subscribe, go check out some of my other videos. I do some kind of interesting stuff once in a while. I'd appreciate it very much. The guys that helped me with the channel would appreciate it very much. I'm using that shelf between the soft face of the anvil and the hard face of the anvil to bend that leaf around that. Yeah. We're going to clean this one up. I got a couple more of these. I'm going to go ahead and do them because better to have too many than not enough on something like this. All right, let's compare. Now, there was no measuring going on, remember? We didn't measure a thing. And look how close I got them. Got them within 1/8 of an inch, I bet. No measuring. I actually just used the anvil face as the measure tool. Everything's coming up roses, roses. Huzzah! There's our hooks mostly finished. I know, I do a lot of these. I do a lot of them. They're very popular. Funny thing about most wall hooks is you don't ever see the decorative part because you cover up the hook. So if you put your mounting holes down here, then you get this decorative part of the hook that sticks up and you can see it after you fill the hook up with a coat or whatever you're going to hang off of it. Most hooks, you never see that. You cover them up. The mounting holes are right in the middle of wherever the hook is. You don't see them. Thanks for the likes. Appreciate it. I hope I can earn somebody's subscription today. Go over and check out we do some very entertaining short videos. Chuck and Jeff and I trying to grow the channel. We want to start a second channel, but we got to get this one a little farther along before we do that. because we just reached our 100,000 subscribers. I don't have that very hot. We like to forge, blacksmiths like to forge in the dark because you can get to see the color of your material so much better. It's hard to see it in a really lit shop. We're going to draw these out. We're doing components for belt buckles is actually what they're going to be. Some folks call them a troll cross. It's just a circle about that big around, and then you scroll the ends back. So, but they're for a very shishi belt buckle. And we're working on leaves. Somebody the other day said, typical YouTube comments, "You don't swing that hammer 3,000 times a day." Well, if somebody would like to get a little countering every time I lift this hammer up and set it down, I beg to differ, sir. Draw that booger out, boy. Couldn't sleep. It's 6:30 in the morning. I've been up for 2 hours. Better than 2 hours. Every day I'm hustling, 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 hustling. Morning. We're doing leaves. Right now I'm drawing out some 3/8 square stock for other things that I'm building. Whoops. Slick. See how I'm drawing a big long taper in that? Well, there it comes. The sun just kissing the horizon right now. Yeah, and I've got the anvil dampened out with about 10 feet of anchor chain. So that's about as quiet as it's going to get. I guess I ought to get like a mic. I don't know that that would help though, because it would just be even closer to the anvil. Maybe if I could afford some better equipment. Come from blacksmiths. They used to be pretty ubiquitous around, blacksmiths. Kind of like mechanics back in the day. Everybody had, knew, shared, helped. That heat gets sucked. The anvil just is like a giant heat sink. It just sucks the heat right out of that thin stuff. Well, I'll take that. I'll take that. Thank you. I've been blessed a lot, more than I deserve. So what I'm doing there, I don't know if you can see it. What I'm doing there is, this hammer has a flat face on it, fairly flat. It's got a round face on it. And so, of course, the top of the anvil's round. And so when you take the round face and you drive it into the round hammer face, it pinches, pinch, 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 and it draws that material out. See if I can get this leaf done this time. Go, NJ, go! You got to cut this material when it's hot, because if you try to cut it after that thin material after it cools down, you'll split it. So once it gets cold, you can't touch it with a chisel, or else you'll literally cut through your material. saw. Oh, wiring in. That's fairly good. I might go in the middle just a little bit and thin the middle down a little. If I can get, oh shoot. Don't burn up the leaf, dum-dum. Dum-dum. Don't burn up the leaf. This forge, even with all the air almost totally shut off, it gets so hot. You really got to watch it. Thank you. It was a gift from a friend. It was a custom-made hat by a friend of mine up in Montana. A haberdasher up in Montana by the name of Randy Range, who owns a company called Law Dog Hat Company. Sure, I can put some shoes on your old lady. Bring her around and we'll nail them on. But you got to hold her. You better bring a twitch and a set of hobbles. And if you don't know what those things are, then you probably not ought to bring your old lady around here. Pretty. Getting there. I'm getting there. Got maybe enough feet in this to just straighten this out a little bit. Okay, I got one more of those, and I think then we're going to be done. I'll try to get one more done. She ordered 3. I'm going to do 4 in case I screw one up, because I've been known to do that. All right, so we got that end done. Now we're going to do the other end. Going to get it hook-like. Try to. Add just a little air, just to kick that up a little. Like, I know I got a big clinker in the bottom of this. Get that heat back up. Try to break up that clinker that's in the bottom of the queer. Throw a little of this leftover fuel over. Something like that. Thank you. I appreciate that. This is 36 years I've been getting paid to hit steel. I in high school, the agricultural classes used to teach welding and stuff back when I was in school. I don't even know if they have ag classes anymore. And I got started there, started doing my first artwork then. And then in 2000, I went to Farrier School in 1990. And then in 2000, I became an artist in residence for Sundance Catalog Company out of Salt Lake. And it's kind of been downhill from there. Watch that other one. It's getting that fire hot. I don't want to burn it up. Yeah, I didn't want it any hotter than that, I can tell you that. Okay. Here's our hooks. Yep, here the old sun's coming up now. Everybody will start showing up pretty soon. All right. Well, now that we're down to one project, I've got more time to talk to you folks. So let's see, what do we got going here? Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Thank you very much. Well, I should be something after doing it for 36 years. I should get so good at something other than flapping my jaws. I should be good at, I don't know, something. I'm pretty good at making hoof picks. I've done a bazillion of them. And clearly I'm not starving. I do good enough to keep myself fed, so. And the, the money and fame has never been very important to me, so. I like to make other people happy. I like to make some other people happy. Not everybody. I think you kind of reap what you sow in this world. Got a big old clinker in the bottom of that. It keeps wanting to. So clinker, I know I keep talking about a clinker. So a clinker is, I'm using coke as fuel, and it's a very clean burning carbon source. Coke is made from coal, just like charcoal is made from wood. But as you burn it, you get these what they call clinkers in the bottom of your, they're almost like glass, like rock. And of course, they get melty like glass and it sticks to your work. But it also goes down and blocks the grate in the bottom of the forge and doesn't let the air come up through it. I'm going to do a little courtesy bend so I can get that metal part of that center part of this down in the heat, because I want to draw it down just a little bit. I don't want it to be quite 3/8. Yep. Just try to, I just do what I do, and it seems to work pretty good. I have ashes in my coffee this morning. Go make me a new cup here in a minute. We're coming up on an hour. That's a pretty good live stream, right? If you like the content, you could help support the channel. Like and subscribe. Go watch some videos. That'd be great. Just last week we reached 100,000 subscriber. Got the 100,000 subscriber button. Took a couple of weeks to get the button in the mail, and we've been working at it. The guys that are in the shop, that hang out in the shop a lot with me, Chuck and Jeff, they helped a lot. Gotta have good tongs that fit your work well. So what did we get done in an hour? All right, well, we got 4 of those drawn out. And we did 4 hooks. Mostly finished. I'll have another a few minutes in the other forge just to finish those up. Then we'll brush them off, put the secret sauce on them, and they're ready to go downtown today. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, you get used to it, right? You let the anvil and the tools do most of the work. The big thing is making sure that your tools are comfortable. So I always square up, rectangle up my handle on my hammers. That flat on there, it lays in your palm better, and you don't have to squeeze it. That's how you keep from getting that tendonitis in your elbow like tennis players and golf players get. You square up your handle, and then you don't have to hang on to it as hard. You don't have to squeeze it. That's what really causes that pain in your shoulder and stuff. So I never leave my hammer handles round. I always square them up. And then, of course, when I'm making my tongs, the great thing is you can bend them to fit what you need. Like these tongs are pretty specialized because I got to reach around stuff. They work for other stuff, but I specifically designed these tongs to make these hooks. Because you're doing stuff from both ends. And so you have to be able to hang on to them. And these tongs actually were made without tongs. That was one piece of steel. I took the piece of steel, I put this jaw and rein on one side, and then I flipped it around and did this jaw on the other, and then I took a chisel and I slid them in half. And so you can make tongs with no tongs. And I've showed that. I've done some videos of that. That's what it is. It looks like a bent nail except that. And that's not the best one. This one turned out pretty good. If you think it's easy, I encourage you to come or go and take a class. Why you tape anvil? No tape on the anvil. That's a piece of chain. Keeps it from ringing. This anvil is about 110 years old. And if I didn't have that piece of chain on there, they would hear that anvil 5 blocks away ringing. Why do I tap the anvil? Keeps the devil drove away. Keeps the devil out of the shop. Actually, it's just a way for you to check your work in between turning. Of course, momentum is your friend when you're doing this. So if you are working, if you're hitting and working, and then you stop, and then you look at your work, and then you go, that's 4 times more work than if you just let the hammer keep going. That's why you do that. And you would figure it out within about an hour of forging. You'd figure that out. Because you see a lot of beginner guys, they're tapping, and then they want to see their work or they need to move or something, and they go, huh, and then they do their thing, and then they go, huh. Well, it doesn't take you very long, and all that stopping and starting starts to hurt you. Kind of. On an old anvil like this, that is a wrought iron base and a hardened tool steel face, if they were forge welded together. And so if you tap that anvil along there and you get a dull spot, it goes thud instead of ding, you know that the anvil face is delaminating from the base of the anvil, and that's not ideal. Cast anvil shaped objects, like I used to say everything that they sold at Harbor Freight, but actually Harbor Freight has come up with a fairly good usable tool steel anvil that I recommend for beginner smiths now. And they ring because they're made out of hardened tool steel. but they used to sell anvil-shaped object that was just ductile iron, and it was like forging on a donut. It was terrible. Oh yeah. I have. In fact, I just sold a brand new anvil actually the other day. That's farriers use anvils all the time. You can buy blacksmith anvils now. They've actually come back the last few years, the last 5 years. There's 2 or 3 companies making cast steel anvils, which are, for all intents and purposes, as good as this anvil. If somebody were to buy a new anvil and they never got to forge on one of these anvils, they wouldn't know the difference. Yes, there are some anvils made in the USA. JHM is a company that makes anvils in the USA. They, I think they're forged in Texas, and then they haul them up to Illinois to get tempered, and then they bring them back to Texas. I've had a JHM anvil. I wish I had another one. NC Cavalry makes a anvil in the United States. There's a Doug Daly or Doug. Oh, yeah, there's an anvil made, the guy from Jackson Hole who makes an anvil. He used to call it Rat Hole, but I think it's D'Ambrose, and his small anvil is like 250 pounds. He does big cast tool steel double horned anvils that are beautiful. They're beautiful anvils. Yeah, you're going to pay. I mean, look, they're tools, and so they're going to be expensive if you're going to buy a good one. I mean, the Vetter anvils are less than $100 for about a 60-pound anvil, and that's not bad. But of course, a lot of it is the shipping. You're paying for a lot of shipping. You can get into like a 128-pound JHM now for about $800. A big, one of those big rat hole anvils, it'll cost you, I think they start at about $1,800. So it just depends on how much anvil you need. Most people can get away with a 70-pound anvil is plenty for most people. They aren't doing the forging that I'm doing. You know, I'm in here 6 days a week forging, so I have a bigger assortment of tools. And this is one of 1, 2, 3, 4 anvils that I have in this shop. Yeah. This is just the inside one. You haven't seen the shop. Go watch my other videos and look at what my inside shop is. This has been a 5-year work in progress to put this shop together. Yeah. All right, guys, I've been on for an hour. The sun's coming up. I'm going to go have a second cup of coffee, smoke a cigarette, throw this stuff in the forge so I can finish it up. Have a great day. I'll probably do this regularly. I think this is about the 4th one. If I can get some internet in this shop, I'll do some lives from the inside of the shop. I can't do lives from the inside of the shop because the shop kills my Wi-Fi. So anyway, get it hot and hit it. Yeah, go ahead and ask your question. I'll stick around for a minute if you want to ask it. I need to let everything cool off here anyway. I can't walk away from this for fear that it'll catch the whole world on fire. Set these out and let these cool off. Yeah, it depends. Some steels harden with water, some steels harden with oil, some steels air harden. Just depends on the steel. It's not all steels are the same. It isn't just steel. The steel that's used to make the fenders on your truck is not the same steel that's used to make the frame of your truck. It's different steel. And the steel that they put in scalpels is not the same steel that they put in lawn chairs. And so all of those steels have different properties and they all harden differently. And you kind of got to know what steel you're using in order to best harden it if you need to harden it. In some applications, you don't want to harden it. You want it to be soft. So it just depends. This steel doesn't harden. This is structural steel. You don't want structural steel to harden because steel that hardens it has a propensity to work hard. So think of like the frame on a truck. You're going up and down the road and it's going like that. Yeah, you have to. You don't want that sucker to work harden and get hard where it's flexing and then. So they have to have a special kind of steel that will put up with that. That will put up with that. Okay. All right. I answer a lot of these questions on the channel on the shorts. You guys have come into an hour of a 15-year thing that I've been doing on YouTube. I think we're 11 or 12 years on YouTube now. I've had a channel. Yeah, this chisel was made out of a piece of truck spring. I use truck spring a lot for tools. My punches, my pritchels, my drifts, and I use a lot of truck spring for knives. It's one of my favorite things to make knives out of. I started as a farrier, a horseshoer. And I was a professional horseshoer for about 25 years. And then I got tired of bending over to do my work and got old. And so now I stand up to do my work. So, yeah, please go subscribe, go watch some of the other content, go comment and all of that stuff because it helps. This is my business and this is how I make a living. So if you want to support the Etsy store, I've got about 50 products on the Etsy store I do, but the easiest way is just to watch the content because I get paid percentage of a penny for every time that you watch. And so all of that adds up. So appreciate it. Everybody get hot and hit it. Always wear your safety squints. If you like the content, slip over to the Etsy store, slip over to the YouTube channel, share some love. Thanks, everybody.